Following the Chinese president's three-day visit to Finland, Xi Jinping's next stop on his diplomatic tour is the United States. President Xi will hold talks with his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump on Thursday and Friday at the latter's winter White House, the Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Last-minute preparations are underway ahead of the very first meeting between two of the world's most powerful leaders. Our correspondent Nathan King has the details.
Welcome to Palm Beach, Florida. You can see the lights of Mar-a-Lago's tower just behind me here. In just a few hours, we'll have President Xi Jinping and US President Donald Trump meeting face to face for the first time. There have been lots of preparations underway for days, not just the massive security detail, but also lots of people wanting to wish both presidents well. We'll see a lot of people descending here on Palm Beach as the two presidents arrive. It's a chance for them to roll up their sleeves, get to know each other personally and their wives as well. And I can tell you, Mar-a-Lago is a beautiful resort, over 100 rooms, bought by Donald Trump back in 1985 for about $5 million, pretty good investment there, and a really conducive environment if ever there was one. You know, they call this the winter White House. It gets away from the partisan politics that we're so used to in Washington, D.C., and allows people to talk openly and freely without necessarily the pressures of all the politics that goes with it. That's not saying that the international press corps is not here. Hundreds of journalists, of course, including CGTN, are going to be here throughout as well. The other thing I think to bear in mind is, even though we have problems on the Korean Peninsula, the DPRK, obviously a ballistic missile program and nuclear testing, we have trade issues, we have territorial issues, South China Sea, differences over a myriad of problems. There are also areas of commonality. Everyone knows that when the two biggest economies come together, there can be amazing developments. We saw that with President Xi Jinping and then US President Barack Obama over capping carbon emissions and leading the way towards the Paris Agreement on that. Now, we know with Donald Trump and his views on climate change, that won't happen. But what will be the new glue that holds the two biggest economies together? Can they work out their differences, manage their differences, and have blue sky thinking? And I know it's dark here, but there are plenty of blue skies here in Palm Beach. Nathan King, CGTN, Palm Beach, Florida.
Well, let's get you more now on Chinese President Xi Jinping's just concluded visit to Finland and, of course, that critical meeting with Donald Trump. I'm joined live from Beijing by CGTN Sui Huiyao. Sui, can you tell us what are some of the fruitful results achieved from President Xi's visit to Finland?
Sure. During his three-day visit to Finland, Chinese President Xi Jinping signed a number of cooperation deals, including bilateral relations, climate change, Arctic research, clean energy, and people-to-people exchanges. What stood out is that Xi and his Finnish counterpart, Sauli Niinisto, announced earlier that they would build a future-oriented, new-type cooperative partnership. What does that mean? Well, as we know, Finland was one of the first Western countries to establish diplomatic ties with China, and the two nations have maintained good, healthy relationship for a long time. But Xi's visit has set a new direction, especially in a strategic and long-term manner. For example, Xi and Niinisto on Wednesday met skaters from both countries in Helsinki, who just attended the 2017 World Figure Skating Championship. And the two leaders pledged to improve cooperation in winter sports as Beijing will host the Winter Olympic Games in 2022. That is just one of the examples how Xi's visit will invigorate the partnership with Finland. As we know, Finland is on the frontier of environmental protection, biotech, and medical and internet technology. And that is exactly what China needs. On the other side, the huge market in China is very attractive to Finland as well. And apart from setting a new direction, another takeaway from Xi's visit is that the two countries will explore cooperation under the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative and boosted connections between Asia and Europe. Like President Xi said during his visit, he hopes Finland can play a more positive role in pushing for China-Europe relations, as China hopes for a prosperous, stable, and open Europe. Back to you.
And so, after wrapping up his visit to Finland, Xi will meet with US President Donald Trump in Florida. Can you give us more details on that?
Right, Xi's following visit to the U.S. has already drawn worldwide attention, as it will include his first meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump since the latter took office. In fact, this will be President Xi's 8th visit to the U.S., and we all remember back in 2013 when Xi met with former U.S. President Barack Obama. at the Sunnylands estate in California. But this time in Mar-a-Lago, what will the two leaders talk about is the most intriguing question. As former U.S. Ambassador to China Gary Locke said earlier, that the DPRK will likely top the agenda during their meeting. But the nuclear missile test and Korean Peninsula crisis might just be one of the many long-standing issues between the two countries. Some other sticking points for the two presidents to go through include trade, which is an inevitable topic because both nations buy and sell so much goods from and to each other, and also currency policies, as the U.S. administration often pins China as the currency manipulator, and then environmental protection, anti-terrorism, and South China Sea. So certainly a lot to be discussed in the next 2 days with President Trump, and we will all stay very closely on their meeting. Back to you.
We will indeed. Sui Hui Yao joining us from Beijing. Many thanks.